Hello, everybody. My name is Sola Abulu. I'm the principal consultant of Sola Abulu and Associates. We are a strategy and communications training and consulting firm. We help businesses and brands achieve their objectives through strategic communications, organizational effectiveness, and reputation risk management. So we have a training and a consulting arm, and the training arm is the reason why we're here today. So we run a session about 5 courses through the year on different topics. If you're not new to this channel, even if you are, you can check out the courses on this channel. But today we're going to be talking about the brand strategy and marketing communications course, which is coming up on the 28th of March, 2024, which is about 2 weeks from now. And this is just sort of like a promo, sort of like teaser video for you to, get a sense of what the classroom feeling is going to be like and the topics and the things that we're going to be going through. A number of you, if you're watching this, may have registered, maybe you've seen some promo about this and you're still considering, but this is just to give you that sense of this is what we're going to go through, whether it's going to be useful to you and what participants on the course are going to get on that day. So stay with me. I'm just going to run through a few slides, like 2 or 3 slides, nothing really, really major. And the whole idea is to ensure that we yeah. So, okay. I'm sure you can see my screen now. So there you go. So, let me just, yeah. So this is the name of the course, like I talked about. Sorry, I just need to be sure that we're really, okay. So this is the name of the course, Brand Strategy and Marketing Communications course. And this is the first cohort that we're running, actually. We're just newly accredited with the CPD Standards Office. And the essence of the course is we're going to learn how to build and, teach a lot about how to build and nurture your brand, how to enhance and leverage on its core attributes, how to increase your brand value, come up with a brand strategy that really works for you and works for your brand, works for your organization. And a lot of what we're teaching here is going to be relevant, whether you are in a commercial or a non-profit environment, because it's the same thing. If you have a brand, you have an institution, even if you are working in development or whatever it may be, it's all this is going to is relevant because you will have a brand and then you will have a communication strategy. It may not be marketing in terms of you're selling something, but it may be marketing in terms of you're targeting an audience or you are, there's an initiative that you're trying to get people involved with. In fact, even attendance at a course. In fact, almost everybody does some sort of event and product marketing thing. So you're either marketing an initiative, you're marketing participation, or you're trying to advocate for people to sign up or enroll up to in some sort of thing. So anyways, depending on what it is you're doing, that will then determine whether your interest is more on the brand strategy side. I think brand strategy side is applicable to everybody. The marketing communication side, more so for those who are, I would say, marketing an initiative, marketing events, marketing products, services, that kind of thing. So if you are in any of those spaces, then this course should be relevant to you. At least the content in this course should either be something that you're already doing, so, or somebody in your firm or your business or your organization or your institution is already doing, and that kind of thing. So just taking us through what we would expect on the day, like I said, it's on the 28th of March, which is Thursday. It's going to be a full day program online via Zoom. This is our registration portal down at below there. When you register, we get in touch with you and then we send the payment links and then you can then, from anywhere in the world, really, you can really join us. We have people joining from all over Africa, we've had people joining from Canada, we have people joining from the US. So yeah, it works really well for us. And that's one of the reasons why we do online courses and bespoke virtual, in-person courses. We do it only on request because if an in-person course, obviously you are favoring a particular location, even in Nigeria, that means you're doing it Lagos, people in Abuja can't attend, people in Port Harcourt, people in Kano, can't attend. So virtual just seems to be the way to go. But then, of course, on request, we do face-to-face, in which case it's a customized audience, and then we're choosing a location that works for that specific audience. But that's on request. And of course, we are reachable at training at Sola Abulu Associates. So in terms of the session, we start off with the first module. We have about 4 modules for this for this session. And in the first one, we start off by talking about how do you create an effective brand? How important it is to have a well thought out brand strategy? What difference does it make? How do you make a successful brand? And then we go through all the process. We actually introduce you to the brand strategy development framework. We talk about the brand promise, how to develop a brand promise, a brand purpose, a brand attributes. All of this is important because if you don't set up all of this before you set up a brand, you're just going to be you're going to be stuck. You at a point you will not know what to do. I see that a lot of people make that mistake where when they want to start up a new business or initiative, they just go straight to design. As in, they don't even put any intellectual thoughts into what is the brand, who is it serving, who is the audience, what is the messaging, what is the purpose, what's the how far do I need to travel, what market is it playing in, what is its value proposition. They don't put any thought to any of those things. So after they've now done the logo, which by the way may not really be the kind of design, because also they are designing even without a strategy. So at the end of the day, you now find many people now trying to fit their business into a design that was developed without any thought to the business. There's now a mismatch between the logo and the eventual strategy because the strategy is not just a function of what you are thinking at a particular time. It must have been something that you stress tested, you really discussed, you challenged, and then when you put it all together, you then express it. When you've done that really well, you find out that there's a storyline that emerges on the way, and you then use that storyline for your marketing communications or your brand communications as you go along. Whenever you see a brand that is struggling to tell a story about itself in the marketplace, it is because they jumped that process of brand strategy development. They went straight to brand expression and tactical things, which is what many people do. And if you are a brand strategist or a consultant or anybody and you're watching this, please, that is not the way to go. It just doesn't make sense. So things like the brand architecture, like I said, we'll go through the brand strategy framework. There's a 6-step process that I have developed and adapted. So I would say it's not 100% mine. It's based on a global strategy framework that is applicable in other parts of the world, developed by some very brilliant people in brand strategy. But I have adapted it to what I have seen work. So I have infused my own templates into it, taken from different spaces and I have used it in workshop settings with clients. So it's based on what I know works and how you can move an audience of people who really know nothing about brand, but take them through a process that enables them to contribute their thinking or actualize their thinking to actually develop the sort of brand that they need to. So that's what I'm going to be sharing in that first module. In the second module, we now really get into the marketing piece. And then we'll be talking about how to use marketing communications to achieve your business and strategic objectives. We'll be talking about the building blocks of a good marketing communication strategy and what type of approach works well in your context. And I'll be saying, if any of this, what I'm saying here is familiar to you, then perhaps you already know some of this. But if it is not, and you are actually building a brand or you're trying to market and you're seeing some gaps in implementation or people in your team are not quite delivering to the level that you want them to or you expect them to, then perhaps some of them need to come on this course. Maybe, maybe this is what they need. So we're going to be talking in this session about, we'll talk about the basics of the marketing terminology. And then we'll talk about the types of marketing communication and have this very important conversation about the difference between marketing and marketing communications. And I added this in because I noticed, I see job descriptions, online on LinkedIn when people they are recruiting for a marketing communications person. But then they are assuming that that marketing communications person is going to be able to do marketing, whereas marketing is a very technical and scientific field, which requires data, resource, and the skill sets are completely different. In fact, we all know people go to school for 4 years. The first degree is 4 years to study marketing. So it's not just something that you pick up on the fly. You have to learn it. You really need to go into a classroom to learn a little bit about marketing. I don't know anybody that just really learns real solid marketing without attending some sort of formal learning. No, you must be doing some, you know what I mean? And that's not to mean, okay, the people that I would say maybe are doing that are social media account handlers who are, working with the platform. It's different from real marketing. It's different. And sometimes that's why, yes, they are good. They're able to create a buzz. They're able to do all of that. But at the end of the day, they may not be able to generate leads. People may not necessarily be buying, to the level. The marketing may not be delivering for you in that way. So that whole marketing versus marketing communications, we'll deal with that off the bat because so that we are clear that this is about marketing communications, but we'll do just enough of the marketing piece for you to understand how marketing communications plays out and how it helps to deliver value for the business, for the brand. We also talk about how to communicate through the marketing funnel. Again, these are terms that if you're in the space, you will understand. Every marketing person knows this. If you're a digital marketer, I would expect that you understand and you already know what the marketing funnel is. But if everything I'm saying is completely new to you, then really there's a huge gap that you have to fill, particularly if you're in this space and you're actually doing work in this space. So we also talk about, we will talk about content for, lead generation, content for consideration, content for conversion, and they are different. But then working the customer through the marketing funnel, through content and through communications, we're going to talk about that. Then the difference between B2B marketing communications and B2C marketing communications, big difference between marketing to businesses and marketing to consumers. Again, I see there's that challenge. I mean, we are a B2B business primarily in our consulting services. In our training service, we are B2B and B2C. In other words, we market our training services both to business clients and also to individuals. So like this course on March 28th is being marketed primarily to individuals. So yeah. So, and then if we're going to market to businesses, there'll be bespoke trainings on a day of their own, of our choosing and that kind of thing. So the difference between the two, in my local context in Nigeria, I have found out that most people are more familiar with the B2C marketing communication, many digital marketers. So they struggle whenever they are given briefs or they are asked to work for people that are not selling to consumers or are selling to businesses or those kind of investments that require two or three a board to sit or a management team to sit. It's a different type of marketing communication. So we're going to really delve into that. And I have a lot of experience in that space because I had to learn it myself when I launched my consulting firm. And I found out that most of the copywriters out there in my local environment couldn't really help me because they were more used to communicating with Gen Z audiences and Gen Z really, and then perhaps millennial audiences. Whereas for my market, a lot of my business buyers, my market was mostly people much older than Gen Z, much older than millennials, Gen X and above. So it's a different type of content, a different type of strategy, a different type of nuance, a different type of everything, So we'll be sharing a bit of that. And I'll also be sharing the template for marketing communications, which we developed at SA&A. We do have a lot of free templates and resources on our site, but we do not have this one because it was created specially for this course and is going to be launched at this session. So the last two modules, the third module is where we now bring it all together. We're now talking about integrating both the brand strategy and the marketing communications and how we measure the effectiveness of the marketing communications. So it is going to be talking about integrating that brand strategy and marketing communication, ensuring that there's one brand look and feel in everything, whether you're on the brand strategy side, whether you're on the marketing com side, and that the messaging is aligned. Sometimes we see, and this happens a lot. Sometimes I've seen this happen where, in fact, recently in Nigeria, we've had situations where the marketing social media handlers caused a lot of problem for the corporate comms team. And that's what happens when the person managing the account does not understand that there's a brand strategy, there's a brand purpose, there's a brand language, there's a brand ethos. If your brand is not a quirky brand, if it's not a certain type of brand, it cannot be, making some off-color jokes on social media. That's the point. You can't jump on trends with everybody else. So that kind of alignment of messaging, that's really what this integration is. So it has a little bit of risk management in it also. So I would say if you're an account handler, you're supporting a corporate brand, please try and attend this course as well, because it would help you to know how to communicate and how not to communicate when you're managing a corporate brand. So balancing the short-term needs of marketing, because marketing is always very short-term. It's either I'm trying to get people to attend a conference or an event or something, or there's, this campaign that I need everybody to sign up or there's elections coming, it's always very short-term and time, but the brand takes a long-term view. And there's a problem. Again, we see that happening. I don't want to name names, but we see that happening where that's the absence of that brand, because it's the brand that links directly to reputation. So if you miss it in that space, and people quickly make the connection when something goes wrong in your marketing communication or your customer communication or something, they tie it straight back to the brand. If care is not taken, if it's not managed well, it will affect your reputation. So there's a direct connect between marketing communication, the brand, and reputation. And you have to make sure that you hold the reins on all those three, and that one doesn't just go off on a tangent and leaves the other behind, or then compromises, the entire thing of the brand. So these are all things that if you know, you are able to guard against that risk. So the final module is then when we now go into the best practices and performance measurement space. And I'm going to be talking there about measurable outcomes for brand and marketing, the KPIs for marketing communications, KPIs. I've seen generally in all my courses, I always end it with a module on measurements and key performance indicators, because quantifying what we do has become a major issue for many of us. I mean, I remember many years, it was something that I struggled with when working. So over the years, I have decided to be very, very, intense in my research and my understanding of how do I measure, and then documenting the metrics that I use for every different kind of work. So I start from the premise that everything is measurable, but then you must have a baseline or on which you are measuring. And yeah, so I'll be sharing a little bit of what I've learned in that space and what I think works, and we'll do it in an interactive way. And of course, people can then take that away and go with that. I would always say, I mean, you have to, you cannot start something without providing a structure for measuring how you've done. Whenever I see people in marketing or whatever space struggling to be able to quantify the value of what you've done, it shows that your strategy was weak. So if you notice, I use strategy in all my courses because we take an approach that ensures that you do not have that kind of challenge. We are not tactical at all. You will do the tactics. Everybody knows the tactics, but the tactic will be driven and guided by the strategy, which will be tied to the business imperative. And when you do that, it will be very easy for you to come up with metrics that are measurable, because they would have been tied to the overall business strategy as well as the brand strategy. So we're going to then see, we would come up with KPIs for the brand strategy. I will show you the kind of measurements that you can use to measure and know when your brand strategy is effective. Also for the how to tell when your marketing communications is effective. I think that one is quite, it's easier for a lot of people to know. But then I'll also show you what it means when it's integrated together. So almost you'll get elements that you can put in a scorecard or a performance sheet that you can then discuss with your business leaders, your functional leaders, or whatever. And it can also guide the way in which you practice going forward. So this is very much going to be hands-on. It's going to be practical. It's going to be live. We're going to have syndicate sessions, case studies, questions and answers. And after the session, there'll be 2 hours of coaching on 2 different days, group coaching that I would share within the session. But we have just 2 weeks left until signing up. So anyone who wants to join, I would ask that you please sign up through the link on your screen there, and then we'll get in touch. You can also send us an email at training@solaabuluassociates.com. The links to all of this will be in the description within the YouTube page on which you're watching this. So even if you can't click on this, you can always click on this in the description as well. So thank you very much. And I look forward to seeing you in our session on the 28th of March online. And we look forward to a good session. So thank you. And stay tuned for the next video. Don't forget to like and to subscribe. Thank you.